and 1. Just waiting for YouTube to catch up like it always does, slow and steady.
Wins the race.
Nice guys finished last.
Bow, bow, ba-da, bow.
Come on, YouTube. What are you doing?
Then why is YouTube finishing last? Because there's nothing nice about it.
Oh, okay.
Ooh.
Hey, we're live.
Oh,
What's
wait,
up, everybody?
Wait, that just got us disenfranchised.
Oh, God. What's up, folks? Welcome to Spectator Mode Podcast, episode 60. And honestly, I have no idea what we're talking about tonight. And I know we have a couple things, but I think we're just going to make up stuff on the fly as I choke on the pizza pretzel. So let me roll our intro, and we will be right back. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I am Keith Mitchell. To the right of me is Rob. Slightly below me is Matthew Getselius. And to the right of him is Mace. What's up, folks? So,
we're at episode 60. Does this mean that we're finally qualified for retirement?
no, that's 65.
Yeah, different country.
Five more episodes, then we get to retire. All good. And if we were a Marvel comic, we would have been cancelled at least 3 times.
I don't even know what week this is as far as quarantine, but I said to Rob before we started,
this is week
I am going crazy.
85th of the 73rd month of October.
I work from home, so it's fine, but the whole fact that weekends I used to go places and do stuff, and I can't do anything. And it's like, every time I walk out the house, I gotta carry a mask and I carry gloves, and I get pissed at my wife, like, look, you can't be doing this shit. You have to wear stuff. This is crazy. And then I look at all the idiots going outside and going to beaches and golf courses. And I'm like, yep, that's really going to help us all. Thanks, guys.
At least for me, it's been about a little over a month since my job has pushed me to work from home. And so since then, I've only gone out like a couple times. I really have not gone out at all unless I needed something in particular. And even then, like going around, like getting gas or something, I have to wear gloves. Like I'm not even gonna mess with anything possibly happening. So
yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. You really become very self-conscious of exactly what's going on around you. It's ridiculous. But I don't know what to say about this other than stay safe. Still, hopefully,
it's crazy.
We'll get through this craziness. But as always, beginning of every Spectator Mode podcast, with the exception of one. We talk about the games we played this past week. And honestly, I've only been playing. Actually, I'll take it back. I've been playing 2 games. One that I can't talk about. But the other one is Final Fantasy VII Remake. And I finally finished the game.
Congratulations.
And this was awesome for me because I had not played an RPG in God knows how long. But when I started playing Final Fantasy Remake, it was like, I got to finish this game. I've got to play it all the way through. I've got to see what's going on. I love the story. I love the graphics. I love the gameplay mechanics. I loved everything. And when it finally came to an end after 45 hours, I was really sad because it was damn good. And we have no idea when we're going to get the next part, which really sucks. But
hopefully
I love
soon. It. A lot of people have been saying that like it's not going to take as long, which hopefully they're right. Because I would imagine they're further along now than they are with the first bit of it.
I hope so.
The biggest hurdle, I would assume.
So we can't talk about this game on this podcast. We hope to have a spoiler cast maybe sometime next week. But I will say this, and this might go into spoiler territory. I do apologize. This ain't the Final Fantasy VII that you played, guys. That's not spoiler.
I knew that.
Yeah,
This is not your daddy's Final Fantasy. And when I say daddy, I mean me because I'm a daddy.
And
that's not my Final Fantasy VII.
It's interesting to hear you say that because I'm pretty well far in. Like I've only got 2 chapters left, and for the most part, other than
at the end,
and that's the thing too, because like a lot of it is changed, but a lot of it is like point to point, exactly like the original game too, which I like a lot because it matches the narrative in a way where it really fleshes out a bunch of stuff, but it's the same points, the same major points that you hit, and so it's like it's this wonderful familiarity with it, other than. You know, you hit a couple points and stuff where things are different. I won't go into as to reasons why.
What chapter are you in right now?
14. So I'm at the point where you have to talk to the Dawn in order to try to get topside.
Yeah, things don't start looking differently until you hit 16.
Okay.
16 on is like, what's going on here?
So that's Shimmer Tower, right? Or at least towards the end of it, I'm assuming. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, things start changing big time.
Okay.
The other game, I can't. Like,
the big revelation being that Sephiroth is Cloud's father in this one.
Cloud loses his hand.
You're not going to get me to spill the beans. I'm not going to do it. Not going to do it. The other game is, God, I really wish I could talk about this game. God, I wish I could. It's a game that a lot of people have been waiting for. How about that?
It's a fun game and a cool game, and a game that other people will likely want to play.
Something that you're fighting in the streets and punching people in the face.
Yeah.
I can't talk about it. God.
Street Fighter?
Yeah. It's the final fight for some people.
Yeah, there you go. But yeah, those two games have been taking up the majority of my time. Again, mainly Final Fantasy. I did get to announce that there's a new DLC coming out for Remnant from the Ashes. Something I knew about since PAX East, but I was under NDA. I could not talk about it. So when they finally announced it the other couple of days ago, I was pretty happy about that. We'll be playing that game quite soon. All right, I'm done. Who wants to go next?
I guess
That's
I can
next.
take. Yeah, I guess. All right, so I've been lucky to get the beta key to play Guilty Gear Strive, and I'll talk more about that later. It's a really good fighting game, but there's a lot of flaws when compared to someone who plays a lot of Guilty Gear. I have been playing a lot of Slay the Spire. I've been looking into some other card roguelike games. I'll probably talk about that later. Playing some phone games, but I've really spent I spent some time playing with Bleeding Edge more and more, and I think this game is somewhat better, but it definitely needs more and more patches and much more content. This is a game that definitely just needs more content, and that's my take of it. Oh, and I've also been playing. I kind of got back into Hearthstone, so that's back in Hearthstone.
Was that because of Josh? Did Josh pull your ear or something?
No, I couldn't sleep well like a couple of nights ago, so I just logged out Hearthstone. I climbed from this new to Legend with the new cards. Yep.
You told Josh you're playing again?
Yeah, Josh knows. Josh knows.
He's happy. He needs
happy. Some. Yeah, it's not like, trust me. Hearthstone, it's still a good. This is my opinion. The meta is very creative, but people just don't want to do anything. They just want to play what they want to know, what works. And I think there's a lot of cards in this expansion. The Ash the Outlander are really good that people should really try out at least.
Eventually, you're gonna get bored enough to start playing Overwatch again.
No. That game has ridiculously hurt me, and I play support. I can't. I can play support in Bleeding Edge. I can't play support in Overwatch.
We still got to catch up.
Yeah, we have to. Yeah, you owe me that much at least.
I like the game. I really like the game. I would love to play. I'd love to have everybody playing it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, fine. Since you have nothing else to talk about, Mace, go ahead for
it.
I want to move this along.
My actual playtime this week hasn't been Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, we know. You've been telling us you hate the game.
No. I've actually been playing a game I actually fucking hate.
Oh, what is this? Warcraft?
No, I've been playing Resident Evil 4.
Wow.
Why?
Because
wait. You wrote this article saying this thing was an overhyped piece of trash, and you're playing it. I want to hear.
Well, I'm unlike a lot of people out there that like to trash games. I actually like to do my research and make sure that I go back and check that I actually still hate this fucking thing before I start writing the article. And yes, I still hate the game. It is still it is an aged piece of rat shit.
It is the best Resident Evil game ever.
It's up there. It's up there.
What do you hate most? You hate 4 or 7 the most? Which one?
To be honest, I will still say 7. That I hate 7 more.
Wait.
But 4 is like right next to it in terms of hateability. 4 brought in all the stuff that I really don't like about the series, like the quick time events and just stupidly taking the story off the rails completely, turning it into an action game and everything else. And I've been running through it. I will admit that I did cheat in my little playthrough. I went and hacked the save file and put through unlimited cash. So when the merchant comes around, I'm just like, "Hi, I'm going to buy the unlimited ammo guns and just plow through everything." And yeah, it's just I still don't don't see it as a good game at all. Like even the graphics have aged badly, and it's that over the top. It was that peak 2000 game. If you remember back in the 2000, every game it consisted of a color palette of gray through brown, and that's exactly what this game is. Starts out brown, goes to gray, and that's it. So I was playing that. I have been playing Animal Crossing still because, Tom Nook owns my fucking soul, the little rat bastard. Got to get those bells to pay back that $500,000 friggin' expansion to my house. Jesus Christ. But, other than that, unfortunately, because I've gone back to at least learning online, I haven't had as much time for games, so it's basically been getting in bits and pieces where I can. I'm still very early in Final Fantasy VII. I do plan to get back to it. I'm probably going to give it a go this afternoon.
What chapter were you in when you stopped?
I'm not going to say because you're really just going to go, really?
No.
I basically, I've only just gone through the, what do they call it, the train tunnel to get Jessie to her parents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah,
It's
so I'm
early
like,
on.
I think that's like chapter 2 or some shit.
Yeah, you're still
I'm
Mad
well,
Dash. Chapter 4,
yeah.
Mad Dash. Or yeah.
I'm like still really early in the game because I haven't had a chance to get back to it. So hopefully I'll get back to that in the next couple of days, and then I'm going to keep going with other stuff because like I now have this itch to go through and play all the Resident Evil games because I started out playing 1. Then I did 2 before 3 came out, and then 3 came out. Now I'm on the 4, and next time I might as well go 5, 6, and
you know what?
then,
That's the perfect opportunity to stream that shit. Stream it. Stream all.
Yeah. Video card. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Video card. I can't do that without one of those because my one fried due to a power surge. Gotta love that shit, eh?
Gotta love technology.
Yeah.
Technology.
But other than that, I do plan to jump into other stuff as well. I'm going to go back to Final Fantasy X again because hey, PS3's save file is really easy to hack.
What about you, Rob?
Yeah. So I've been playing Final Fantasy VII as well. And before I go on, I feel bad for Resident Evil 4. I'm not going to sit here and defend it. It'll take too long. But
wait, you will defend it though?
I would defend it given the chance, but I'm not going to say it's the best Resident Evil game ever. Because I think I'm just saying a lot of your points are very valid. The point about the whole gray and brown thing, absolutely. The game is dark as hell. There's no color palette other than those 2 colors. And
Ashley is on point as well.
Ashley has a bit of yellow. That's about it.
I'm talking about just taking care of her. That was also
Ashley. Oh my god! That was so awesome that I wanted to rip my fucking teeth out with a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Catch me! No, fucking dive off and go head first, bitch. Fuck.
There's still a lot.
You're wearing an armor suit. You can crater into the ground, all right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I've been thinking about that a lot too. Like I want to go back and play Resident Evil 4 at some point. I also want to play the first one, the remake, a lot more too.
That was good.
Yeah,
that was good.
I love the original a lot. But
Zero
anyway,
and the Final Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 remasters are really good. Definitely check those out. Since you said that,
Zero's the only one I haven't played ever. I think that's the only one I haven't played that ever. Yeah.
Give it a try. It's not bad. It could be better, but it's not bad.
Okay.
Yeah. To be honest, if you are looking to get into Resident Evil, and I'll say this to everybody, if you've sort of been sitting on the fence,
play 7.
With the exception of buying Resident Evil 2 and 3 Remake on PS4, there is a great little bundle on the PlayStation Network that consists of the PlayStation versions of 1, 2, and 3. Then it's the PS3 versions of 4, 5, 6, Code Veronica, the 2 light gun games, and I think there was one other title with it as well for like probably about $50 American. So if you're wanting to jump in and sort of play it old school, but that's probably the best way to do it, probably the cheapest way to do it too.
It's not a bad deal.
Almost all of them are also available on PC, but I don't think it
That's
includes
true.
Code Veronica.
Yeah, I'd probably get it on PC too. But yeah, I mean, other than that, I mean, for what I have been playing, Final Fantasy VII Remake, I'm getting not close to the end, but I'm
You're getting close
at
to
the end. Yeah. And other than that, only a few other things. One of my buddies was feeling kind of down recently, so we were playing some Black Ops Zombies, just as like a classic thing I haven't touched in a while, and it's still a lot of fun. I have all the DLC for it, and going through all the zombies maps is like crazy fun. And
that reminds me, I want to go back through Left 4 Dead one day.
That's a great game.
Yeah, I haven't played a Left 4 Dead in so long.
I think that game is dead.
It is, but at the same time, there are so many custom campaigns that are really, really well done.
Yeah, true.
So I think maybe we should all stream that at some point.
You should play War Z.
It's kind of wild to me that like Half-Life is alive and Left 4 Dead is dead.
Well, the writers of Left 4 Dead left the company.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So I don't think Valve has any plans to revisit that or Portal. I think it's all Half-Life from here on, which is I'm fine with it.
That's fair enough.
To take care of those games later. All right, let's jump into one of our first topics, and this one is all your job, so I'll let you take care of this one.
Yeah, so one of the big topics in general for games at large is that Jason Schreier, who is like one of the biggest writers in the games industry at large, who is also part of Kotaku, is leaving Kotaku for a number of reasons, but one of the main reasons was because of the whole Deadspin drama that had occurred. I think it was it last year or 2018?
Deadspin kicked in around last year, I believe.
Yeah, so it was around last year where Deadspin had like this giant self-implosion, just in general, all of like the Geo media groups. So like the standard Deadspin, pretty much everybody left because corporate management essentially jumped in and said like, hey, we're not making enough sales because you're writing about this. Stick to sports is the famous line that they said. And everybody left in droves. I mean, there was only like maybe like one or two people who stayed. Everybody left. All the main writers left, and it was insane. And that corporate management that was part of Deadspin also owns Kotaku. So a lot of like the aftershocks from that was sent out to Kotaku and had a lot of management issues that Jason Schreier talks about in his leaving piece a little bit. And some other stuff too that he linked to in his article, so you can look more in depth there. But basically, he has decided to leave among those concerns and some other things, and he's moving on to a new venture. And I can
actually join in and talk about that. I've seen a lot of articles and videos talking about it from both point of view. But I'll let you finish your piece before I jump in on that.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting to bring up because he's kind of like one of those regardless of whether you like him or not, he is like one of the biggest journalists in the industry, and it's good to talk about because of like it makes people wonder on the corporate management side of things, how much are they going to try and control the media, and as a good reflection, in my opinion, how much we're willing to stand against that. And so,
that's the way to look at it. Another way to look at it is some people say insubordination or whatever, but I've seen a YouTuber talks about an upper echelon, and I don't agree with him on this one at all, because it's like, yes, Mr. Scheer, without him, we wouldn't know about crunches, the horrible practice in game industry, like the abuse, but he's super political, and he left because of his beliefs. I'm like, it's really hard to be journalistic without a sense of bias, so I don't care. Do I agree that majority of Kotaku articles were bad? Yes, a lot of them were just junk and trash. Kotaku it's still a joke until Jason Schreier writes something. Is that fair to say?
I wouldn't say just him. There were a handful of great.
There were a handful, but like at this point, when you look at it, it's
left. Jeter Jackson left. Joshua left. I think there was two other people that they all bounced.
Yeah, basically. So he was the last one, as I said at that point. So Kotaku was a joke without him.
Oh, and what's the other dude's name? Tim. Does
Tim
really good videos. Was that
not Tim the Tat Man? No.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
God, what is his name?
I don't remember his last name.
He was
a couple.
I'll remember it. I'll remember it in a little bit.
Right.
But he did some great stuff. Tim Rogers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and the thing about it to me is like, there's all people will try. Oh, the whole if you believe corporate's laying down, less politics in my games, blah blah blah. Just journalism's crap. In my opinion, Deadspin is right to get rid of some of the writers who are just awful, who don't know how to again. Without those people we've mentioned, Kotaku is considered a joke or just a rumor site, or they just misquote things to get clicks and buzz, which is not.
That is, unfortunately, even though we're in a different situation, yeah, we'll say that. A lot of journalists, gaming journalists, have to resort to that because you're all, and we're even feeling this. If we all regurgitate the same thing, there's nothing that separates one site from another. So you have to do something to make you stand out. I don't agree with some of the stuff they were doing.
Yeah.
100%. I don't agree with a lot of stuff. Like this game, Final Fantasy VII is too easy. Easy mode is too easy.
Right. Or the art. I think, was it Kotaku? No, someone else. But like articles like that just like challenge like game philosophy and no one really kind of, it's, to me, if you're going to write something critical and maybe an off-spin take, you better be the most researched, most analytical thing you can be. Otherwise, it's a waste. You're just writing fluff. You're writing nothing. Shock value. Yeah. So, do I agree Deadspin laying down management law is great, but I don't think it is as bad as what they say. It could be also because Schreier must have noticed that Deadspin must be taking much more initiatives with some of the big companies, whatever, which will limit his freedom of speech, how he feels. Like, he's a very critical person. We can admit that much, right? Could you imagine?
He's very hypocritical too.
That too. I mean, I've seen people told me he was.
Well, like you said, all of us always have some kind of bias. We all do. No matter what you say, there's something that we're all biased against, regardless.
True. Yeah, every media outlet has a bias too. I mean, not everything is as
very few sources are very black and white. We just have the data. People just. But the thing to put it out is like. I think also, too, he must have noticed that Deadspin could be cozying up to like a bunch of the bigwig developers, which probably telling him he has to play nice, and that's not his thing. He would, because again, he's done exposés exposing how bad Ubisoft and EA and etc. And now they're cozy up to them. I can't work with people cozying with them because that makes me look bad. That hurts my journalistic integrity. That could be another reason why he left. But my take of it is that him leaving, it will be the end of, I would say, the old Kotaku, and there'll be a new Kotaku. I don't know what that new Kotaku will be.
There won't be a new one.
Well, they'll call it something else.
That new Kotaku would be a bunch of clickbait and fucking what's his name? Nathan.
Nathan Explosion. No, I'm messing.
No. Like guys like Luke Punkett are only doing like one line in an image and calling that a fucking article. Brian Ashcroft talking a lot of shit as per fucking usual.
They don't have that many people left. They've got I always pronounce his name wrong.
Nathan Grayson was the guy I was thinking of. The guy promoting his latest fucking girlfriend.
But no, seriously, let's get back on. Steven Titilio. And one more. That's it. I mean, if he leaves, forget it. Kotaku's done. I can see them pulling the plug because that was something that people thought was going to happen when the organization got sold in the first place. The network got sold in the first place.
Right.
That was back when they were pushing their union as well a lot too. They had a writers union that they were all pushing as well. I think in terms of that, Kotaku will always have their editorial voice, and I mean, regardless of, it, to some extent, Jason has his own kind of sector of his own voice for the publication. But at the same time, they have a lot of these like opinion and hit pieces and stuff that are, it kind of grays the areas of whether is it representative of Kotaku or is it just representative of the writer? And, a lot of this stuff kind of falls into this argument. It kind of falls into this argument where it's like, okay, so is it Kotaku saying this, or is it this person who's part of Kotaku, or is it just this person? And Kotaku's just giving them a platform to say something, and this argument comes up a lot. And the answer is always subjective. It's never really about like, can there be an objective media outlet that can make their points without causing any controversy?
I've always hate that argument because sometimes in some people it's a subject saying, I hate this media source. That's why I always hate that argument for it. It's like, to me, I'm not a fan of Kotaku, but I do read their big hit pieces or some things that big buzz around to see, that's what they're talking about. That's what they think. It's something to appreciate. Just because I'm not a fan of them, I still appreciate them being a news source. Though I am afraid of, like I pitched before, Deadspin could be cozying up to big wigs, changing who they are, which that's what I'm afraid of. And that's why Jason and many other people have left. I'm still looking forward to things he report. I'm still looking at things he make his own website, or maybe he'll join another thing. I'm still looking forward to what he says because he always has good news.
Yeah, he has a great voice. He's knowledgeable for the most part. He is a little bit arrogant, but he is a really good authority when it comes to the video game industry. And as far as where he's going, he has not said, obviously.
Oh, no, exactly.
But he did make it sound like he's not doing something on his own. He's joining an already established
He's likely
team.
joining somebody else. Yeah.
And the thing to put it to is like, I don't know, people like, oh, this and that. Oh, he's political, this or that, or he's biased, or on people confirm that on Twitter he uses bots or programs to block people that don't think like he does. And I'm like, who cares? He's not going to knock on your door and say, hey, I know you're a Republican. You're a douche. I'm like, I don't think he goes around doing that. So who cares?
No. I mean, he's not preaching to the choir by any sense. I mean, he's just
he just has a belief.
He can have his opinions and he can write about who he wants to write about, And I think a lot of it is because, like, his impact is not so much necessarily about who he is, but like who he's able to speak to. A lot of his sources are anonymous or not, he's able to get sources from inside, a variety of different developers, publishers across the industry. He's got a wealth of sources of knowledge that he can reach out to, and people are still at this point very comfortable with talking to him because they know he's able to be tactful about what they tell him, and he's not going to reveal anybody. He's a good traditional journalist in that sense, is that he's able to break the stories and bring out these stories of things that people don't necessarily know about. And that's like a good quality to have, regardless of whether you agree with him or not. People will still read his stuff if it's something they've never heard before.
Exactly.
Or if it's something that's important and needs to be talked about.
Right. And without him, like Aldrich aside, I'm a huge BioWare fan. I've always loved BioWare from Mass Effect Uno, Dos, and I love Dragon Age. But now I know the sense how bad they've been lately, as well as the Anthem situation. And even in his article, if you read that, he actually even named the people who posted this from this source, from this person. He even confirmed the internal workings, everything. Like, that was really great. My eyes over at BioWare, and even though I'm still a fan of them, I'm more paranoid about the games they're going to make now, because if they do this process the way they do it, I can't trust these guys anymore. I'm going to go play another guy's company, because that's not only it's horrible, the product is bad.
Well, I mean, we would have found that out eventually anyway. I mean, he wasn't the only one talking about that.
Oh, no, but he was like one of the top guys doing top guy things,
So where do you think he'll end up going?
There's
a lot of places out there.
Maybe
a lot of people wanted to point to the fact that he wrote an editorial for the New York Times, but I don't think
the New York Times
is going to expand out into a gaming division.
Yeah, that's not.
More realistically, I think he's probably going to hop onto something like the Washington Post, which has like its new like launcher initiative that's like game news specifically.
I was thinking of like ESPN or Slasher Rod, that guy, maybe whatever he works for, because he's because those two guys almost do practically the same thing.
No, I don't. Where does Slasher do?
Rod is independent. I know, but I know he has. But I know he does pieces for some side. I think he's had a spot.
He's
on
a freelance. He does it everywhere. He does
everywhere. So yeah, there's a possibility freelance. Like he gets an article.
Freelance. I feel like, to me, I think he has a bit large enough voice where he would probably go somewhere relatively large that isn't just necessarily video games at this point.
No,
he's become such like a pivotal like news source for a lot of people, where I feel like he would definitely go to somewhere that isn't necessarily just games focused, but may have a very large either reader base in general for just standard news or any other kind of outlet, or if there's like a somebody that has a very large gaming initiative that he's willing to jump into.
Not to cut you off, Keith, you're still a fan of Giant Bomb, right? You remember that company that purchased out Giant Bomb as a news company?
No.
No. Okay. Giant Bomb doesn't do articles anymore, do they? I don't think so.
They haven't been doing the conventional thing in years.
Exactly. I was going to say Giant Bomb, because Giant Bomb, I know they're privatized and they can say whatever they want. So.
I think they're primarily like reviews and stuff.
Reviews and and great.
They don't really do reviews like that anymore.
No, they just do. I guess blurs, but
they're an outlier. They do whatever the hell they want to do.
Yeah.
So because they have the personalities, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Great podcast. I would like
to see him go to Vice. He's a couple of
Kotaku people. That was another big one. Vice Gaming. People assume that's probably his most likely outlet, which would make sense. I think he matches their editorial voice pretty well. That would make sense to me. It'd be a good spot for him too, because Vice is pretty well regarded as far as I know.
Yeah.
I mean, wherever he goes, they're going to have a great personality for sure. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how it shakes up the gaming journalists. What do I want to say? Scene, field. Yeah, scene is a lot better word.
Yeah, I think it sets a precedent too, because like a lot of sites and stuff are very much like enthusiast press, which is just like, give us a game, we'll review it and say nice things about it, especially if it's free, you know. And like, I think he's been kind of like one of those, and he's not necessarily the pillar of it, but it's like he's been one of those primary voices that has been able to kind of break that impression, regardless of whether you're in the industry or not. There are plenty of people who will still think like, oh, if you write about video games, you're just doing it for fun. There's no way you're being some kind of objective news writer, you know. A lot of
and yet you see all the
think
pieces
that.
about crunches and abuse, and you think that's fun. I would never want to write about that shit ever.
Yeah,
and I'm glad there are people out there that do it, because I couldn't do it.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for the people who have to talk to you, and for you yourself, the writer, you know, having to talk about things like that. Like
I'd be like, nope, I can't do this. I'm sorry.
It's insane. It's heart wrenching, but it is important. You do have to get it out. You know, you gotta. If anything, you can at least praise Jason for having a, you know, kind of like a steel integrity, you know, for at least being able to hear out people like that who are going through hell and back, you know, regardless of whether it's crunch or otherwise, you know. But it'll be interesting to see where he goes. I'm curious. So,
hey, look, Josh just said he just beat Final Fantasy VII.
He finally welcome to the club. Only 25 years late.
So at least we can talk about it next week for sure. We'll have him on the show and we'll all talk about it. Yeah, so Jason is gone. End of an era. We'll see what happens next with Kotaku. Nothing but the best for him, but he's already got it. He doesn't need that from us.
Yeah.
All right, so
all the best to Jason, and congratulations, Kotaku, on finally becoming the clickbait bullshit place that you could decide to be. I'll be dead on honest. That's why I've been quiet for most of this, because I just see anybody who
we talked about this. Open your mouth. Say
okay.
It. Okay, close it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Basically, I've had a very interesting relationship with the former editor of Kotaku Australia. He and I sort of end up having this thing where we constantly butt heads over Kotaku articles and everything else. And at the end of the day, it was agree to disagree. Catching up with him at PAX last year, I asked him, be honest with me. 90% of the shit that you guys post is the American corporate telling you guys to put up clickbait, correct? And he's gone, yes. They are basically, they've become that dirt sheet style site that is basically running on two different options. One is we've got clickbaity articles that you come and you click on, and the story is absolutely bullshit, not worth reading. Two, controversy creates cash, as good old Eric Bischoff used to say. And they put up intentionally controversial stuff because you're going to click on that, and that's all they care about. They don't give a flying fuck about the gaming industry. There was only like a handful of people that did, and those people are long gone from the company. You know, Jason being probably the longest holdout of the entire lot. He was probably the last of the guys there with actual fucking integrity. And, you know, now at this point, there's nothing difference between Kotaku and that dirt rag that says, you know, Elvis is still alive that had an alien baby 3 months ago.
Elvis is still alive?
Yeah.
So it's too much. So.
Yeah, you know, it's like that scene in Men in Black where, you know, oh, let's go check the dirt sheets, and it's that weird, you know, little Huntsville Inquirer Gazette or something like that. That's what Kotaku is. They're trash journalism, and I'm not afraid to say it. They're trash journalism. Thank God Jason's finally out the door and he's on the better things. You know, Kotaku can go die in the dumpster fire, and I wish that when Hulk Hogan took him for millions, that it was finally the end of that fucking site.
I thought it was going to be the end. I don't know how they stayed afloat.
They got lucky. Some other company came along and fronted some money, and that's how they stayed afloat. I can't remember exactly how it happened, but somebody came along and kept Kotaku running when Gawker went down.
Well, I don't know what's going to happen now, but let's go ahead and move on. So we've been saying for a while that the PlayStation 5 and Xbox One X, they're going to be Series X, almost at One X, Series X was going to be, pretty expensive. And now the reports coming out from Bloomberg are saying that the PlayStation 5 is going to be both expensive and limited because of they can't get the parts they need. What a surprise. What a shocker. Thoughts about this?
Well, with the state of the world, I can't say it's surprising. I mean, that's just one factor of it, but it's got to be a huge factor at this point. You know, I mean, this is not something that's been just affecting the industry for maybe a month or two. Maybe they'll get back on track in June or something. Not going to happen. You know,
that's not going to happen.
And I mean, it's getting to the point now where like it's very realistic that these consoles are going to be like $500, maybe more, and so it kind of. We've tackled the question of what's a justifiable price before, but I mean, now it's kind of seeming like it's going to be on the higher end and it's going to be harder to justify in general, regardless of whether you've hit hard times or not, you know? And it's just, it'll be interesting to see how the sales and everything shape out for these consoles that are still not delayed. They're coming out this fall. It's going to happen. As far as we know.
Yeah, this whole price situation, it just took a turn for the worse. Somebody commented on the video last week when we talked about this, saying, what does it make a difference if the console costs $700 or not? And I was going to make a video to say, this is why I feel this is a silly thing to say, but I wanted to wait for this show. So for that person, it goes like this. If you price a console at $700, I will guarantee you the only people that will buy that console are the people that are well off, influencers, YouTubers, and people that have nothing better to do or have no concept or actual money. $700 puts both consoles out of almost everybody's price range. Adding the top of that, you got to buy games. Some people end up buying new TVs, and that's an ass ton of money that people simply don't have. Now, in today's market, today's situation, most people don't have jobs now. Most people don't have the money. And the sad part is, people realize that gaming is important to them, and they will go without basic necessities to buy gaming stuff because people are dumb. I don't want to put food on the table. I want to go buy a brand new game. And you can't say that people aren't, because we've seen people do that. There's been articles about people doing that. People in the news doing that. Hey, we need this console because it makes me feel better. Fuck food. Fuck keeping the house over my head or anything like that. So putting that at $700 will pretty much shoot both Sony and Microsoft in the foot. They can't do it, and I'm pretty sure they know this. So they're in a tight situation where they know the parts are going to cost them an arm and a leg. Production's down. Most of the parts are being made in China. China isn't coping very well. I don't believe anything they're saying, but and they've already said the PlayStation 5 will see limited release when it comes out. Microsoft hasn't said anything, but I'm pretty sure they're probably in the same boat if they haven't already lift and shifted their production elsewhere, which is something that both companies should have did the second COVID-19 got onto the scene. So that's why I don't think these consoles are going to be $700. Now, do I think they're going to be $500? Yes, that's the price I was saying from the very beginning, $500. And that's still a pretty penny.
Mm-hmm. I think $500 is like, you have your fence of too expensive and affordable. $500 is literally like right there. You're going to have so many people who are wondering, okay, this is about as high as I would pay for. And then other people are going to say, that's too much. I already spent $400 on my PS4 years ago. And like, now that the price has dropped, like, I might as well just wait and assume that the cost is going to go down. On the flip side, I mean, I think these console makers are going to have to sell this at a larger loss than they've ever done previously before. All consoles have sold at a loss before. I mean, that's pretty common knowledge at this point, but this time it's going to be a lot worse. I mean, that's probably why we're going to have such a limited supplies, because they know they're not going to have that profit margin, and they're not going to sell that much because they know that the world has been affected by what's going on this year, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for everybody.
And they know they can't undercut themselves because they still want to make a little bit of profit. There's one thing of losing money, losing X amount of money on a sale versus losing a lot more money on a sale. And they don't want to do that. Yes, companies make their money back on games. We all know this. But if I'm selling a console for $500, well, that's what I want to sell it, and I'm end up selling it for $399. I'm losing money on that console. And when I lose that on 1 million consoles, that's going to start hurting me. I don't want to do that. But then at the same time, See, this is where Microsoft and Sony are in two different situations. Sony can say, well, again, we're winning. We can do this because the PlayStation 5 is going to have PlayStation 5 exclusive games. Microsoft took a different route and said, hey, all our new games are going to be available for Xbox, Xbox One X, and Xbox Series X. There will be no exclusive games for this console for, I think they said, the first year or so. Halo Infinite is going to be available on all the Microsoft consoles and PC. Microsoft can probably afford to sit it out because they're doing it that way. Sony, they're putting all the eggs in one basket and saying, hey, our new games will be PlayStation 5 only. It's going to be interesting.
Well, one thing too, and I think it's a pretty important factor, is the fact that Microsoft has Game Pass, which is like a big money grab, especially for just in general, because people will play, the next Halo game or whatever on Game Pass, but they'll also be able to play, a bunch of other things too. So many more people are going to want to opt into it because it's like this. I don't want to say veil, but basically like a veil of affordability, even though everybody who signs up for the subscription, no matter how much game playing they're going to be making, like Microsoft's still going to make a lot of money. It's not going to be, looking at the bare minimum $60. They're going to be making a lot more because more people will just sign up for this,
I'd be curious to find out if Microsoft would ever tell people how much money they made off Game Pass and how many people actually cancel Game Pass after a certain amount of time.
Actually, if you look up their financial quarterlies, that could be given to you. You could. I mean, I do it for a living, but
you look that up for me because I feel that should be something they should give us.
That's probably more personal as well as something they don't want to admit because they're trying to, again, not this is something I believe Microsoft doesn't. Even though they have changed their entire company, or most of the company overall, to be a service-based company, they don't want to admit that model is for their gaming thing because the service industry is not getting that much of a respectable, at least in finance and investment recently. So,
they've been doing that for everything that they've done so far.
Exactly,
everything.
but they're a little bit more sensitive about it. Sensitive.
Office 365 would disagree.
Office 365 would disagree with a lot of people.
So yeah, it's going to be interesting. Macy's been pretty quiet about this.
I give no fucks.
Okay, well, he gives no fucks. That's why he does not care.
Thanks, America.
The only thing I could probably agree with there is, Microsoft Office 365 does disagree with a lot of people, which is why I still run Microsoft Office 2019.
I still have 2013. I need to get the new one.
Oh boy, I'm gonna probably need that for my laptop.
$19 a month.
Yeah,
I've been using Google Docs for free this whole time. I can't be paying for this.
You know what? Honestly, Google Docs is a great alternative. I will not lie; it is great.
There's not many missing features. It's pretty much almost one to one.
Yep. And they know this, and this is why they do this. So yeah, if you can't afford Office 365, I mean, the only reason I use Office 365 is the fact they also give you a shit ton of storage. They give you a lot of storage.
That's where Google makes their money. Yeah, because you only get about 15.
Yeah, Office 365 gives you a terabyte of space per account, up to 5 accounts for the same price. So you literally have 5 terabytes of space that you can do whatever you want to do with it for the monthly subscription price. Where Google charges you pretty much the same price for an extra 500 gigs. So yeah, it's interesting. All righty. Well, we'll just move right along because we want to get to the end so Matt can talk about Guilty Gear because I really want to hear about that.
You better have some good questions. I crushed up to I want to say the 20, 30 floors in the game. So I'm 30th floor.
Okay. Well, we can't talk about Final Fantasy. And what? Where are we at already? What's our time so far?
We're at 43 minutes.
Holy shit! Really?
Yeah. You might have that nice hour episode you want so much.
You know what? I don't think we have anything for tonight. I don't have anything. I wanted to talk about Final Fantasy, but we can't.
Next week.
Then talk about Final Fantasy. Talk about Final Fantasy.
You know what? Okay, fine. Final Fantasy VII Remake is no spoilers. None. None.
All right. Okay.
It is an amazing game. Again, when I first heard about this game, I was like, this game's going to be terrible. I don't really care. But some way, somehow, Square Enix pulled it off. It is a must-play RPG of this year. And I would probably say this generation as far as RPGs go.
Yeah,
name another RPG right now.
Persona 5.
Yeah.
That's Persona 5.
I understand that it's niche wise, but considering all of the critics saying it's like a 5 out of 5 game. Like
It is. It is.
There's Persona 5. There's I can actually name another.
Name
Persona 5. Oh, actually, wait, what? Did I just beat that recently?
A lot of critics keep giving things 5 out of 5 and 4.9 out of 5 because they don't like to piss off the publishers.
No,
or the PR reps.
Hey, I'm just gonna say right now,
it is one of the better. It is one of the better RPGs of this generation. There have been some, but this one is one of the top ones.
Yeah,
for what they've done and what they are continuing to do, especially when a lot of people wrote them out and said, "You know what, this is a bad idea," and those same people have come back and said, "Wow, this is a great game. I don't know how you did it."
I don't know who wrote the power of Final Fantasy because 15 was trash doesn't mean 7 is trash. Come on, it was just 15.
You know what I'm going to say that's like most surprising to me is that a lot of the development team came from Final Fantasy 13, which is crazy to me.
Final Fantasy 13 made a lot of sacrifices so that 7 can walk. 7 Remake can walk.
That's fair. Yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah,
there's a lot of stuff in 13 that appears up in 7 Remake.
Yeah, a lot of it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'd be curious if people go back and go play.
You mean like a very linear experience?
I don't know about going back to play 13 though.
No,
There's a lot of really bad.
Go back and play it for the music.
That's probably the only reason.
13 got they made 3 parts of that game, all booty. That's all I could say. It's definitely not a game I recommend people play.
I will say though that I thought this game would be good. But the game is turning out to be great, which I think a lot of people are saying. But to me personally, as somebody who's played the original, I was not ready for how much larger this game was going to be, and I was not ready for how much fun this game was going to be. The combat is the big surprise to me because obviously they're eschewing the turn-based completely for a completely new system.
I didn't even use the classic. Didn't even touch it.
Yeah, me neither.
Nope.
But that's the thing, though. The game encourages you not to, basically, because it makes the point of combat so fun. Every character plays completely differently, and you can play them a certain way. Like, my favorite character to play as is Tifa in battle because she's so much fun. She's a literal fighting game character who has cancels.
I want a fighting
abilities.
Game. Yes.
It's insane. It's so cool. Like,
she has wall traps with her one ability.
Exactly. It's
like
insane.
What?
I love being able to do a full basic combo, jump into an uppercut. You can immediately cancel into a dive kick, into an overpower move. It's insane. It feels so much fun. And I love that aspect of it because they actually made the combat action game, but super engaging because it's always got you using your abilities. When you use up an ATB gauge, you swap to another character and then you keep on going. It's just so much fun. And there's no reason for you to go out and try the turn-based mode because they just made it better.
It is just so damn good. I mean, again, if you have not played it and you like RPGs, you need to give this a try. Just play the demo. Play the demo at least.
Yeah, for sure. And that's not to say I don't like the turn-based from the original game because the original game's combat's great too. But they evolved in such a way that's just so great, and they really did a fantastic job.
Yeah, so I can't wait to talk about spoilers next week. That's going to be fun.
Yeah, it'll be good.
Matt, this section has been dedicated to you. We do bonus round. This one is all you. So let's talk about Guilty Gear Strive.
All right, so Guilty Gear Strive, I got into the closed beta access, and it's pretty interesting. The closed beta access has no training mode, so you just got to play people online and learn as you go. Simple, good times, like an arcade game.
Nice.
The netcode is phenomenal. I had a chance to play against people who I know have trash internet, and I play against people who have good internet. I felt relatively good. I actually tested against other regions, playing in Korea. I had a Korea region versus here, so it was pretty good. So that's it right there. If you have any character-specific questions, I can go to what I dislike about the game so far.
I haven't really paid attention to any specific character other than Soul. Because that's what I usually use when I play. I almost said Soul Calibur. Oh my God, Guilty Gear.
Guilty Gear, yeah.
Talk about the mechanics though. What has changed from XR to Strive?
What's changed is that there are very limited air combos. There are air dashes, but you can't really do air combos. Such as if I was going to hit you with a counter hit JH and try to chain that into carrying the wall in the air. It's not viable in this game. In this game, what I dislike about it, particularly, the game it gives you way too much indicator of something happening. Counter hit, screen freezes and shakes. Super zoom in, classic stuff. And one thing I dislike about the game particularly is that if you do a corner combo or put one in the corner, you keep hitting them towards the wall. The wall will actually break, throwing them out, ending the combo, or ending whatever you were doing to keep them in the corner, and they'll just transition to the next part of the stage, putting them back in neutral. And I don't like that as a reward for people who play characters who are based on corner pressure or mid-50-50s or keep your opponent locked down. Because I could just let you hit me, and I'll just, all right, I'm back at neutral, fine again. I'm not a big fan of that.
So is that just like you finalize one wall combo, and then it just shifts back to neutral?
It's a couple of hits. Like if a wall combo or 50, you don't have to hit them. Just if you do a combo in the corner, just that's about it.
So there's no like kind of like health balancing, I guess. I'm just kind of curious. It's just like one combo.
There's health balance. Obviously, the game has some scaling, but the damage of this game is insanely high. You can kill a guy with like 4, like Potemkin.
I've seen that. It's crazy.
I learned a Potemkin combo. If someone's in the corner, and this will require you to break the wall. Potemkin Buster, 2K, 6K. If you have meter, have quarter circle 4 twice, or 236P. Heavily Potemkin Buster does almost 100% damage each Pokemon once they're dead.
Speaking about the meter, is it still very meter heavy?
Yes and no. Meter in this game only has a limited amount of functions. It just does super and Roman cancel. It doesn't seem like it has faultless defense yet, kind of. So yeah, this is for my testing. So the meter is pretty simplistic. As for a long-time Guilty Gear fans, they will probably not like it because of how limited the combo system and how basic this game is compared to other games. Like, you would look at Grand Blue Fantasy and think that game is basic, but it has insane depth. And Guilty Gear, the game made for depth, is extremely basic. So I can see a lot of Guilty Gear fans being upset about this game, about how basic it is, as well as my personal gripe of the game is I don't like the wall combo system, and I don't like the lack of air combos, and I really hate the combos, the combo feeder. It's this big giant gray button that says da beat. I'm like, just make a normal hit thing. You don't have to make it as giant as a whole thing. Come on, man. It's like the dubbing is so down so everyone knows what's going on. Like, dude, come on, please stop. You don't have to hold my hand that much.
So you're saying they made the game a little more simplistic than
insanely simplistic.
Okay.
That
might be frustrating.
Yeah. For a higher Guilty Gear, it's to a fault, yeah. But luckily, it's a beta that can change it because what I'm suggesting is just remove the wall break or in Guilty Gear Xrd, particularly if you do a dust attack in combo with wall splats, so you can wall break if you do a dust combo in the corner. That would be fine. Just do that from Xrd. That works. That's you can still have the mechanic, but you have a way to use it or not use it. Please add air combos back. Change the canceling. Please allow.
Don't they have a way for you to report or just give feedback on the game?
Twitter and the Discord or whatever. That's what I've been doing.
Okay.
So that's the way so far. They are collecting data from everyone who plays the game, so that's another way to do it too. Some levels are just as you would see entire lobbies people just playing May, which is easy. Just hurts. She has like a truck, so that's kind of interesting.
I heard Chip actually is pretty awesome too.
Chip is pretty unique in this game. Even though he has almost exactly the same moves before, they made it feel, like I said, the design makes it feel unique. He now has a wall run. We can combo from wall running. So he can hit you and wall. But the problem is, if he hits you while wall running, it still breaks the wall and it'll transit to the next stage. So that's kind of silly.
Okay. That's
yeah.
That is weird.
The good thing about the game is they made every character feel unique and you see it and you do it. Like, I'm an Axel low main. And I love how they added vacuum effects to his attacks, how he jumps around and slashes his chain sickles around. The new attack, I love some of his new attacks, particularly from the green slash, forward back slash, or charge 4-6 slash. Throw it, and you press slash again, the chain will explode at max range, allowing you to stay there, which allows you to do long range mix-ups and whatever. So that's kind of cool. Potemkin hits like he hits like a truck. But
you had some concerns about him going into the beta, didn't you?
Yeah, I end up being correct. I'm actually upset about Potemkin. Counter hit 2S does not vacuum like he did in old games and bringing old games. The Accent Core series or Accent plus R. One thing I'm deeply upset about too is his Heat Knuckle. Sure, you can H or 236H. People who use notations. It is air blockable, meaning that the opponent jumps at you and they block. You cannot grab him out the air. That is not a good feeling. So the only true anti-air it has.
I've never played that character, so I'm just like, is that a difference from how you? Okay,
because it was an air grab. It was an air grab. Think of it in Street Fighter 4. The character Abel when he does Skyfall. Yeah. Imagine you could block that if you jump at him.
Ooh, yeah, that might be a problem.
That's a problem. Yeah. so it allows his anti-air game to be a little stringier, more guessy. Hammerfall is great. Slide head does damage. That's nice. Slide, which is he just slams his head to the floor. Slide head, and it still has a knockdown. It's still great. You could just do that. Roman cancel, hammer feint into your mix-ups. He's still a grappler. He's still pretty good, but I feel like he might be weaker in the game because of how Heat Knuckle changes. And Heat Knuckle automatically does the extend part. And extend would be back in old Guilty Gear games. If you catch him with Shoryuken, 236H, and you have circle back H, you would do the follow-up, it blows him up. In this game, once you do Heat Knuckle, blows him up already. So it just and the damage is there. So basically, Heat Knuckle is a combo mechanic or a very hard air read, thinking they're going to press a button. But I'm disappointed that it's not air unblockable like it should be. So you can always have a guaranteed anti-air setup. So it's what it is. I feel bad for him. But May hits like a truck. I can't believe like 2 dolphin combos, like 40%. It's amazing what she could do, which is fair because she's always been that way. And I'm deep. Faust is weird, but he's kind of cool. I found out what happens when Faust's new command grab, the snippy snips. So he gives you an afro as a joke, but that afro is no joke.
I saw that. That's hilarious.
It's not a joke. What it does is extend the character's hitbox, giving him better ways to combo into you. So his normals that won't normally hit you, you're a shorter character.
I did not think about that. That makes sense, too.
So he does more damage. He has a bunch of new items that are insane, which he summons a random squad to hit you. He summons a knifey doll that jumps and attacks you. He's much more dangerous in this game than before. And even though I feel he's more simplified, he's still very unique. And I consider him at the moment. He's probably at the moment. I feel his top 3 character, how strong his items are, and his game plan. So he's like really busted, not busted, but strong. And people who figure out his 50-50s are gonna woo until we get like Eddie and Amelia if they ever get playable. So he's fun. Chip is Chip. He's a ninja. He's gonna run around, fly all day. Has a command throw. He'll just hurt you. He can definitely lay the pressure all day, every day. And I think one of the more unique characters people are interested in or had no idea is what they did to Kai. Kai is essentially the Ryu to the Ken, the Soul, whatever. It's the same kind of character. What they did to Kai, his neutral is still good, as remember, his far slash, Big Dipper, but he added the static mechanic, which allowed him to extend combos or add more block stun to his thing. So it's really interesting, making him a little more mix-up oriented when he gets the proper pressure. So that's the high points of Guilty Gear. But the low points are, I'm not a fan of the wall combo system, the wall systems, the combos, lack of air combos. Gatling system doesn't feel as unique as it should be. And there's lack of air combos. And you can't, but some characters can't chain, well, in general, I think they can't chain 5P to 5K, which is a standard Guilty Gear staple. You can't do that in this game, I believe. So combos are shorter, which is not a Guilty Gear thing. I think that's how you describe it.
You said you liked it. It sounds like either you're being very critical, you're very concerned, or
no, I like it that it's very unique how it plays. But as a Guilty Gear game, it does not feel like a Guilty Gear game. This feels like someone's first play. Like, best way to describe it is a lot of anime games have done this so far. Like Grand Blue Fantasy or Sam Show is like my first footsie game, my first game, and it plays like that. And as I mentioned earlier, Grand Blue Fantasy is a very simplistic game, but insanely deep. Guilty Gear right now looks insanely simple, but it's Guilty Gear. Guilty Gear was never a game of very simplicity. Though I think it's fun and it's unique because of its simplicity right now, it's not a Guilty Gear game. I would say, oh yeah, this is going to be the most complex, insane Guilty Gear thing to do. I feel like this is a game that'll be fun to play. It's fun to play, but not fun to master because there's not much mastery to it.
But you did say it is a beta, so it could change.
Yeah, it could change in beta, and there's a lot of things that I don't particularly not a fan of in the game.
I guess what I'm curious of is, does it feel like they're trying to make the game so that newcomers will come in and play the game?
They're trying
to. That's a bad thing.
I feel like that's what they're trying to do, but at the same time, they make Grand Blue Fantasy, and that's way easier and has much more appeal. Same thing with Dragon Ball FighterZ. It's very easy. It's like everyone's first Marvel game. They love it more than Marvel. And I would say Marvel Infinite and Marvel 3. Those games cannot compete with Dragon Ball. Marvel 2 is, the GOAT because it's Kusoge. It's Kusoge. Like, come on, you gotta admit, Marvel 2. I mean, you could Magneto jab Infinite. That's all I gotta say.
Oh yeah, I have no idea how to play that game, but I love watching.
No one. No, yeah, you need to dedicate a philosophy degree to play that game.
Yeah. The amount of tech and exploits and shit in that game is just
Magneto, Sentinel, and Cable. That's all
basically. Or better yet, my favorite, the Iron Man Infinite. If you ever saw that we went on to the F in Infinite. Yeah, light punch, heavy punch, hard. Yeah, basically, I'll show you guys a video of the guy yelling how to do Iron Man's Infinite. Zap Point, it's a joke, but it's actually how you do the Infinite. Thanks,
Just
Mike.
gotta have curly mustache.
Yeah, just get that mustache. But yeah, I feel
It's
that
sad we won't get that. We won't get that Marvel vs. Capcom 2 tournament. I was looking forward to that.
Power,
really
battle. This
So
is what it is.
Evo's still get canceled.
It's
It could happen.
that shit's getting canceled. Everything is getting canceled. There's no way in hell Evo is going. No way.
Yeah.
Even if they don't cancel, people aren't going to go.
No,
Yeah.
well, that's the thing. Like this is the thing. Just sort of pull it off topic just slightly. There have been some things that have been done online quite well in terms of competitions. I believe like the Formula One racing at the moment is still going strong by using simulators.
Racing, yeah.
To do online. Yeah, just don't swear, or else your mother will yell at you from the background. But there's nothing stopping Evo from becoming an online event.
Yeah,
believe it or not, some local tournaments have been doing that up in New York and elsewhere I know of. So
yeah, exactly. You can run online tournaments, and this is supposed to be the time where esports is supposed to shine, but nobody's ever actually bothered trying to do anything yet.
Esports. Oh man.
Esports.
There's a lot of logistics. There's a
Yeah.
lot of logistics to that. So maybe something like that could happen. Something small scale, but like running Evo itself, that's just not going to happen online.
Yeah.
There's too much. There's way too much. Not to mention latency. Nah, that won't happen.
Imagine trying to play Smash Ultimate Tournament online. Just
imagine trying to play Smash online now.
Just think about it.
Yeah, basically.
It's so bad. I hark about it all the time, but it's so bad.
It is not fun. It is not something I recommend for anyone human being. But you can play Guilty Gear Strive online, and as I said, actually, all the Arc Systems games are pretty good. All the Arc Systems games are pretty good.
Play online.
Yeah, but yeah, I hope, like I said, I hope they take more cautious to it and try to add more complexity to the game. I think if they decide to bring back air combos, just lower the damage a bit. That's what they could help. I think that there's a couple things they need to tone down. Like like I said, I play Axel Low. Axel Low in this game doesn't have his signature counter, which was his only defense option. And Guilty Gear Revelator 1 and 2, or Sign, whatever, that series, the Xrd series, he also had a DP, Shuriken Slash. So he had two defensive options, and this game has no defensive options. I find that upsetting because if someone gets on top of Axel, it's over. So I can't use my DP or a counter, and I feel upset about that. Like Axel has none of that in this game, which this should be a move. That's his thing. And that's about it in a nutshell. Hopefully, yeah. I think, like I said, this game, it has a very cool look. The music's fantastic. All the characters feel very unique, especially what they did to Axel. Like, Axel's problem in the Xrd series was that he didn't have a lot of vacuum normals. And that was his thing prior series in the AC and older series. That if he hit you with 5P, you get pulled in, 2P, you get pulled in, 6K, get pulled in, allow him to pull you in to do his bomber loops or air combos or half circle back air slash. But in this game, they changed it where certain specials have pull in, such as sickle slash, 4-6, 4 back charge, press up slash, it now pulls him in. He has moves that knock him away. It's so cool how he controls the tide of battle of his special moves rather instead of normals, and it feel unique. I'm upset in the sense that again, he doesn't have his defensive options, and some characters in this game feel like kind of like I would say bastardized versions of themselves. Like I would say to Axel, I feel the same thing for a little bit Soul. Soul's the only character that doesn't really feel that unique, and I'm kind of disappointed because all the effort they put into Kai, And I say May's a bastardized version of herself. Well, she's the same, but that damage is insane. She could kill dudes in like a 6-hit combo. It's insane.
I don't sympathize with a very, 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 very poor comparison. But in a game like Smash Ultimate, where the entire meta is centered over aggression and offensive tactics, like defense in that game is so bad. So like I can understand where a heavily offensive meta can become very tiresome and annoying in a lot of points because sometimes you just can't defend yourself, even if you have the options that feel like you're doing something, but at the same time you just get punished for it. So
or people just go autopilot, just go straight brain dead.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of that in Smash as well.
Yeah, trust me, yeah.
And
it's Though the burst, and the thing is, the burst mechanic in Guilty, I haven't had time to test it, which I'll probably do tonight or tomorrow.
When's the beta over?
The beta's over, I believe, the 19th. So that's tomorrow, I believe, or the 20th. I think it's the 19th. but I need to double check a couple of things. I want to double check how long it takes a burst to heal in that game. I don't think it's a long. I think it's standard burst time in Guilty Gear, like maybe like 2 minutes or something. But that's the thing too. Like, oh, maybe they want you to burst more often, and burst recover slow. Then it is what it is. So yeah, that's about a nutshell. But I think the game definitely needs some improvement. I have some hope in the direction, but they need to improve the creativity and the combo potential of the game, because that was the whole point of Guilty Gear. Was a very expressive game when it came to its combos, and very expressive, and the characters are expressive because each of them play completely different from each other.
All right, well, there's Strive. Well,
there's Strive. Yeah, there's Strive for the future.
There it is.
There it is.
I forgot to mention something else before we close out. Obviously, COVID-19, a lot of shit's been canceled. Latest one has been canceled. Gaming wise, has been Gamescom 2020. That is now canceled. It's like, who didn't see that coming, right?
No, yeah.
And they're like everybody else doing an online thing, or they're planning something. So
yeah, at least they have a better way of handling it. And I think they kind of threw some jabs at E3 when they were talking about it. The world's biggest gaming convention, and they know what needs to happen, and they're going to take care of it, because E3 was going to have some kind of online presence, and now they're not. I think IGN.
It was as if, I was just going to say, I was like, it's as if IGN just stepped right in and said, "Hey, E3 will do that," and just took it from them.
It's really weird about that one. So I'm glad to see the Gamescom at least understands what's going on, and they'll have a digital show, and that they'll likely be more prepared than other people. So that's great.
Yeah.
I think, like we said before, it's safe to assume that if it's a gaming event, it's going to be canceled until the world gets a handle on this pandemic. It's canceled. So
it's safe to say at this point everything's canceled. It's from now till at least probably August, September. I'd
even
say.
Further than that, Facebook Oculus, their Oculus Connect 7, they've already said that's already canceled.
Yeah.
Well,
hell, even
now.
I saw it for the first time in 50 years. San Diego Comic-Con is canceled.
Yep, they are canceled.
Yep.
First time in 50 years. Like this has been one of those things that's like throwing everybody off. Like
2020 is canceled.
2020 is canceled.
Next year,
let's just yep. Next year is going to be 2020.5 just to make up for the
final chapter prologue.
Final chapter prologue that comes later, at least 18 years down the track.
You know what's going to happen? They're just going to write this year off. 2020, it'll be 2019, 2021. What happened in 2020? That year never happened. It never happened.
No.
Don't talk about it.
Even I'm sitting here, like, I'm waiting. PAX happens in October. So there's still a slight chance it may happen. Very, very slight if we keep going here in Australia, because, we don't have a cheater who decides the economy is worth more than human lives. We might still have PAX later this year. So I haven't canceled my hotel reservation or anything like that just yet.
Holy shit, you made them already?
I made it the day PAX was announced.
Jesus.
They announced the weekend it was on. I went straight to the website of the hotel that I use every year, and I booked the room. And it was actually saving me $150 down on last year. So,
okay,
you book really early and you get good rates. But at the same time, it's like now that all this is happening, I'm like, do I cancel? Should I just not bother? And I'm going, no, wait a minute, just wait until we get closer in the year.
I would hold on to the hotel at least until they say it's canceled.
Oh yeah, exactly. I can hold on to it up until 24 hours before I have to actually check in. So it's actually quite good, the place I've got. But like, this is the thing, like everything that we've got, like we've just seen a whole heap of movies get cancelled. Well, not so much cancelled, but it's pushed back. Basically, anything from Disney is going to be happening, later.
There's one movie that's going to Disney Plus.
Yeah, because they know it wasn't going to make any money at the cinemas.
I was actually interested in that movie, so I'm going to watch it when it comes out.
Well, that's all good for you. But it's like it's one of those things that like a lot of their big tier movies, like especially the Marvel stuff, we're pushing that back because we want that box office gross.
Yeah, exactly.
And now it's slowly starting to become the same to games. Games, conventions, anything that requires, hey, we're going to actually make some money off this. Everybody's like, yeah, let's just move it back or shut it down or Like, if this quarantine goes on for too long, we're going to be screwed because we're going to run out of entertainment.
We're already screwed. I'm not even worried about entertainment. I'm just worried about everything else.
You guys who finished Final Fantasy VII inside of a week. Yeah, take your time with that stuff because you never know when the next big game's coming.
I mean, I could go out without entertainment. I'm more concerned about the state of everybody's minds and society just crumbling. That's what I'm worried about.
The thing I'll be interested in is that how our landlords going to get that rent. But
that's what I'm really concerned about. I hate to talk about that, but okay, you know what? Just fuck it. Let's talk about it. So we're in this big pandemic, and most of the people in the United States are getting a stimulus check, and they're like $1,200 for an individual is enough. Some idiot said enough for 10 weeks, and I'm
no.
How?
Most people's rent is more than that.
Yeah.
This pays nothing. You've got landlords who will not drop. They will not do deferred payment. Obviously, they won't drop your fees. You've got mortgage companies that won't defer payment. They won't.
The banks ain't stopping. Yeah.
So it's like and people are getting let go from their job or getting less hours. So I'm going to get evicted because I can't work. I don't have the money, and there's nothing I can do.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like to me, it's
that's what I'm worried about.
In my opinion, they should have given that money every month every month at this point because we don't know how far it's going to last.
They're going to have to do something. They're going to have to go back and go, you know what? We tried to bail out these companies. You shouldn't have bailed out the companies. You should be bailing out the people who really need it. Not these companies, these multi-million-dollar companies that should have money on the side, especially now that they're firing, laying off people.
Yeah,
they have their money. What about the people that don't have the money and are at risk of losing their houses, their homes, their cars and shit?
And knock
with
on
no
it,
fault of their own.
Yeah. And the thing is that again, the problem is that our financial institutions aren't backing down. They're not getting deferred payment. I'm still gonna get paid anyways, like bastards.
See, this is where I start laughing because I look at what we're doing, and all of a sudden, what we're doing just seems like probably one of the best things in the fucking planet compared to you guys. To give you a brief rundown, our government has taken out a few different measures in terms of stimulus. One is that they've taken anybody who is on a government like unemployment benefit or study benefit or something like that. They're increasing their payments by $550 per fortnight, so every 2 weeks for the next 6 months.
I always find it weird when you say fortnight.
Fortnight. It's not the one where you build the thing in the computer.
I know.
every 2 weeks. So it's an extra $550 on top of your standard payment every 2 weeks for the next 6 months. They have introduced what they've called the JobKeeper package, which is $1,500 every 2 weeks to any employer per staff member that they keep on, regardless of the downturn. So if you have like a 30% or 50% downturn in your business, you can apply for this package, and every single person you keep on will get $1,500 every 2 weeks until this pandemic thing's over.
Yeah, I wish we were doing something like that.
We've also got, I think it was a $250 million package that goes to landlord. Part of it goes to landlords. Part of it goes to people with rent difficulties. We've opened up access to basically our version of your 401k retirement package, which we call our superannuation, which people can take out $10,000 per financial year.
They need to do something like that here because I'm already looking at my 401k, and I already told my wife, I was like,
"Yeah,
you may need to dip into that."
Well, that's it. It's like our government at least has put forward the idea and the measures that is going to keep our country running as soon as we get out of the isolation. As soon as everybody gets out of isolation, they're going to be so flush with cash that they're going to start putting it back into the economy, and we're going to bounce back so fucking quickly. Whereas your Cheeto is gone, fuck human lives, we're going to put you all back to work.
Actually, believe it or not, like I said, I think I told this to my friends. Our country has finally done the thing we talk about. We're thoughts and prayers. Thoughts and prayers will take away this disease. No vaccine.
No. You're missing it. The whole COVID-19 is a lie. It's not really happening.
Of course not.
It's a Chinese lie. It's a Chinese lie. Remember?
The Chinese.
It's from China.
Shame.
Even worse now is that he's literally like just saying, okay, the onus is just on the governors. Just take care of it. You know what you're doing. And it's just like,
you've got reporters asking him the hard question. And he's getting mad and yelling at them, and it's like, dude, what? He's telling people, remember your Second Amendment. I'm like, what? Why are you telling people this? By the way,
grab your guns and ammo and protect
by the way,
yourselves.
Second Amendment doesn't mean you have the right to bear weapons. It basically means if you are defending the country, you have the right to bear arms. Not you people in the house that are wanting to walk outside. I've got a gun in my pocket. No, that doesn't mean you. Oh my God!
Like I said, thoughts and prayers for us. We're all going to do fantastic soon. And I guess that's just a wrap up this amazing podcast. Play Guilty Gear Schreier if you can. And
Remake.
Final Fantasy Remake. Don't worry about it. If you beat in a week, you obviously have destroyed your own chance.
But you know what the good thing about this is? You can replay it. It has great replayability. It really does.
Yeah, if you want get those trophies. Get that platinum lifestyle.
Get that stuff that you missed. Definitely do it.
Backlogs too, just in general. Like if you have anything that you need to play, now's the perfect time. Especially if you're not
going back to Final Fantasy.
Not down that pile of shame, bro.
There's so much things you can do in Final Fantasy. Like I had beaten one boss, and then
somebody
somebody's like, "Oh, you can still up from that boss." And I'm like, "Son of a bitch!" So I got to go back and I actually went and got it the second time after they told me that. But that was like, "Oh, that's cool." So there's so much stuff in the game you can do. You can replay that over,
you can just sit there and play darts all day.
If I had a dartboard, I actually would do that.
You got a dartboard.
I mean, in the game. Yeah. That was aggravating me. I was talking about real life cards, man. Shit.
Okay. I gotta ask. Like everyone here has played Final Fantasy VII Remake and has at least gone to the dart thing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
How long did it take you to grind to get that number one spot just to get that goddamn bronze trophy?
God, I don't even want to get into like that. That's almost my second new depression next to me getting wrecked in Slay the Spire because the enemy drew faster. Like thanks.
I took about half an hour to grind into that first spot, man.
Oh man, see, I'm just talking about this game again. I'm just thinking how good it is. Like the drive-in sections. Oh, the game is so good. It reminds me.
The only thing that's disappointed me so far is that pinball machine that you use to go down into the. You can't actually play that as a pinball machine. I'm like, I've just wanted that.
The first thing I did was walk up to the pinball machine. Went, I can't go down.
Yeah, I know.
But like, it also reminded me of all the games Square Enix used to do back in the day. Like they used to do racing games. They used to do fighting games. Tobal, the bouncer. They used to do 2D shoot 'em ups with in-hander. Oh, I want them to start doing those things again. I really miss the old Square Enix. I kind of do.
Give us some more. Give us some more remakes of Dead series, please, or even just new entries into some of those series.
Make Tobal number 3 and put Tifa in it. Done.
Air Guys too.
She needs to be in a fight game. She is just.
She was. Amazing. She was. That was the Air Guys thing.
She needs to be in a new fighting game. How about that? She needs to be in a new fighting game. She's just so good.
She'll be the guest character Tekken 7 done.
And give Barrett his own third-person game. Give Barrett his own third-person game, or put him in Gears of War or something. Just do it. He's too damn good.
Barrett in his own game, so he can.
I love him. If anybody has a recording of him doing the fanfare without the music, I need that to put it on my phone. That is my new ringtone if I can find it. Love it. God, this game is so good. But yeah, let's go ahead and call it. Thanks for checking out episode 60 of Spectator Mode Podcast, because we'll be here talking about Final Fantasy VII Remake for a while if we don't stop now. Wow. So once again, I'm Keith.
Come back for part 2 next week.
Carl and Matt. Thanks for checking out the show. And as always, you can find us out on Audio Boom, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and wherever podcasts are.
And the Outerhaven.net.
And the Outerhaven.net. Make sure you go there and check out an article. There's a really good article on there right now. I won't tell you what it's about, but just go check it out. All right, guys. We're going to roll this outro, and we'll see you next week. Hopefully. Take it easy.